I think these plates would be perfect. Yes, they are lovely. Let's get these, Mom. I think these dishes are just perfect.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, Mom. We'll take them. This mat is perfect, exactly what I was looking for.
It's a lovely color on the stack.
Yes, a great choice, Mom. Let's keep exploring. Look at all the fresh produce here.
Yes, we got the biggest rice sack too.
And the biggest basket of vegetables.
Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. This story follows Huyen and Day, two devoted children, as they begin a deeply touching journey with Day's mother, Sam. After completing the construction of a new house for her, the family goes shopping together to buy everyday household items for the new home. From the quiet joy of standing in front of the newly built house to the tender moments of choosing bowls, blankets, and simple necessities with love and care. And finally, to the moment when the house is truly brought to life by laughter, tears of happiness, and family warmth. This is not just a story about a new house, but a story of filial piety, gratitude, and the simple yet profound happiness of a family that always stands by one another. If you felt the warmth of this story, please give the video a like, share it to spread positive values, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss more emotional, real-life stories about family, love, and human kindness in our upcoming videos. Your support is our greatest motivation to continue creating and sharing meaningful stories. That morning began with a quiet kind of happiness, the kind that settles gently in the chest and lingers without needing to be spoken aloud. The new house stood bathed in soft sunlight, its walls still carrying the faint scent of fresh paint and newly cut wood. It was not a grand house, nor one meant to impress the world, but to Huyen, Day, and Day's mother, Sam, it felt more precious than anything they had ever owned. This house was built with patience, sacrifice, and countless nights of silent determination, and now it stood there, ready to welcome a new chapter of their lives. Huyen stepped outside first, taking a slow look around as if she wanted to memorize every detail. The smooth stone path leading to the door, the small front yard that would one day be filled with plants, and the windows that reflected the bright sky all felt unreal, like a dream she had once been afraid to hope for. Day stood beside her, his expression calm yet deeply moved. He did not say much, but his eyes revealed everything. The pride of a son who had finally been able to give his mother a safe and warm place to live, and the gratitude of a man who knew this journey had not been easy. Mother Sam walked out last, her steps slow and careful, as if she were afraid the moment might disappear if she moved too quickly. She reached out and gently touched the doorframe, her fingers tracing the surface with reverence. For years, she had lived a simple life, always putting her children first and never asking for anything in return. Now, standing in front of this house built just for her, she felt emotions rise in her throat that words could not contain. Her eyes shimmered with tears, but her lips curved into a soft, grateful smile. "This house," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly, "it still feels like a dream." Huyen immediately took her hand, warm and reassuring. "It's real, Mom," she said gently, "and from now on, this is your home." The words settled into Mother Sam's heart like a promise. She looked at Huyen with affection, seeing not just a daughter-in-law, but a daughter she had gained through love and understanding. Day watched the two women, his heart full, knowing that this harmony was the greatest blessing he could ever ask for. Today, they were going shopping for household items, simple things like kitchenware, curtains, bedding, and daily necessities. Yet everyone knew this trip meant far more than just buying objects. It was about filling the empty spaces of the house with warmth, purpose, and shared memories. Each item they chose would become part of Mother Sam's daily life, silently reminding her that she was deeply loved and never alone. As they prepared to leave, Mother Sam paused once more, turning back to look at the house. The sunlight reflected softly on the windows, and for a brief moment, she imagined future mornings spent there, waking up to peaceful silence, cooking meals for her children, and sitting by the window in the afternoon with a cup of tea. These simple images filled her heart with comfort and hope. Day noticed her hesitation and spoke softly. "Don't worry, Mom. We'll take our time. Today is just the beginning." Mother Sam nodded, squeezing his hand. She felt a sense of security she had not known in a long time. This house was not only built with bricks and cement, but with love, responsibility, and gratitude. And this shopping trip, this small journey they were about to take together, symbolized something far greater, the start of a peaceful, stable life where she would be cared for, respected, and cherished. As they walked away from the house towards their car, the air seemed lighter, filled with anticipation and quiet joy. None of them spoke much, yet their hearts were perfectly in sync. Ahead lay busy stores and long lists of things to buy, but in that moment, all that mattered was the simple truth they shared: a family moving forward together, ready to turn a new house into a true home. The marketplace was already alive when they arrived, filled with the familiar rhythm of daily life. Vendors called out cheerfully, the clatter of metal and porcelain echoed from nearby stalls, and the warm scent of fresh food drifted through the air. For Huyen, De, and Mother Sam, this lively setting felt strangely comforting. It was here, among ordinary people and everyday objects, that they would begin shaping the new house into a real home. Huyen walked slightly ahead, her eyes moving carefully from one display to another. She paused often, examining the quality of bowls, plates, and cooking pots with quiet concentration. Each item mattered to her, not because of its price or appearance, but because it would be used daily by Mother Sam. She imagined her cooking meals in the new kitchen, moving calmly and confidently, and she wanted everything to be practical, safe, and comforting. When she picked up a set of ceramic bowls with soft, neutral colors, she turned to Mother Sam and asked gently, "Do you like these? They're simple, but they feel warm." Mother Sam smiled and nodded. "They're beautiful," she said, though what truly touched her was not the bowls themselves, but the care behind the question. For so many years, she had been used to choosing the cheapest options, always thinking of saving money for her children. Now, being asked what she liked felt unfamiliar, yet deeply moving. Meanwhile, De focused on the heavier items. He spoke with shop owners about rice cookers, fans, and shelves, carefully comparing quality and durability. He lifted boxes with ease, stacking them neatly and making sure everything would fit safely in the car. Occasionally, he glanced back at Huyen and his mother, listening to their soft conversation, and a quiet smile appeared on his face. Watching them together gave him a sense of peace he had rarely known. As they moved from one store to another, Mother Sam began sharing stories from the past. She pointed to a simple wooden stool and laughed softly. "We used to have one just like this when De was little," she said. "He would sit there every evening doing his homework while I cooked." De paused, surprised, and smiled shyly. "I had forgotten about that," he admitted. The memory seemed small, yet it carried years of love, struggle, and perseverance. Each item they placed into their cart felt like more than a purchase. It was a quiet promise. A soft blanket meant warmth during cold nights. A sturdy kettle meant peaceful mornings with hot tea. Curtains chosen carefully by Huyen meant privacy, comfort, and a sense of belonging. Mother Sam watched as her new life slowly took shape through these ordinary objects, her heart growing fuller with every step. At one point, Mother Sam hesitated when Huyen picked up a slightly more expensive set of bedding. She said, "This is too much. I don't need anything fancy." Huyen shook her head, her voice calm but firm. "You deserve to sleep comfortably, Mom. Please let us do this." Den nodded in agreement, and after a brief pause, Mother Sam finally smiled, her resistance giving way to gratitude. By the time they finished shopping, the car was filled to the brim. The sun had climbed higher and the crowd had grown thicker, but none of them felt tired. Instead, there was a sense of fulfillment in the air, a quiet satisfaction that came from doing something meaningful together. Mother Sam sat in the back seat, looking at the bags and boxes around her, her hands resting gently on her lap. She realized then that this shopping trip was not truly about household items. It was about being seen, valued, and cared for. It was about a son expressing his gratitude, not through grand words, but through steady actions. And it was about a daughter-in-law who treated her with genuine respect and affection. As they drove away from the marketplace, Mother Sam looked out the window, her reflection faintly visible in the glass. She smiled to herself, feeling a deep sense of peace. The new house would soon be filled, not just with furniture and tools, but with laughter, shared meals, and quiet moments of understanding. And in that realization, she felt richer than she ever had before. When they returned home, the late afternoon sun cast a warm, golden glow over the new house, making it feel even more welcoming than before. The car slowed to a stop in front of the gate, and for a brief moment, no one moved. There was a shared sense of anticipation, as if they all understood that this was the moment when the house would finally begin to breathe, to transform from a quiet structure into a living home. Day was the first to step out, opening the trunk and carefully lifting the boxes one by one. He carried them inside with steady hands, placing each item gently on the floor as if handling something precious. Huyen followed closely, organizing the bags and deciding where everything should go. She moved with a calm confidence, already imagining how each corner of the house would look once it was fully arranged. Mother Sam watched from the doorway, her hands lightly clasped together, her eyes slowly filling with emotion. As the boxes were opened, the house seemed to awaken. The soft rustle of fabric echoed as Huyen unfolded new curtains, holding them up to the window to check how they caught the light. Day set up the small appliances in the kitchen, plugging them in and making sure everything worked properly. Every sound, the click of a switch, the gentle thud of a box being set down, felt meaningful, like the heartbeat of a home just beginning its life. Mother Sam stepped inside at last, her movements slow and careful. She reached out to touch the neatly stacked dishes, the smooth surface of the table, the fresh bedding placed on the bed in her room. Her fingers trembled slightly. For years, she had lived without expecting comfort, always telling herself that simplicity was enough. But now, standing in a space created especially for her, she felt overwhelmed by a feeling she rarely allowed herself to experience, the feeling of being deeply cared for. "I don't know how to thank you," she said softly, her voice breaking despite her efforts to remain calm. Huyen immediately moved closer, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "You don't have to thank us. Seeing you happy is enough." Day stood nearby, nodding silently, his eyes shining with emotion he struggled to hide. Mother Sam sat down on the bed, running her hand across the clean sheets. Tears finally escaped, falling quietly onto the fabric. These were not tears of sadness, but of relief. Relief that her years of hardship had not been forgotten, that her sacrifices had been seen and honored. In that moment, she realized that this house was not simply a place to live. It was a symbol of her children's gratitude, a safe harbor where she could finally rest. As evening approached, Huyen suggested making tea. The kettle boiled softly, filling the kitchen with a familiar, comforting sound. They sat together in the living room, cups in hand, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes and newly arranged furniture. There was laughter as they discussed where to place certain items, and gentle teasing as Day tried to assemble a shelf while pretending he knew exactly what he was doing. The house felt alive now, filled with warmth and shared presence. Outside, the sky slowly darkened, and the first lights inside the house were turned on. Their soft glow reflected in Mother Sam's eyes as she looked around, committing every detail to memory. She imagined future days, Quiet mornings, shared meals, visits from neighbors, and evenings spent waiting for her children to return home. In that peaceful moment, Mother Sam understood something deeply important. True happiness did not come from luxury or wealth, but from feeling safe, respected, and loved. Huyen and Day had given her more than a house. They had given her dignity and belonging. As the night settled in, Day gently said, "Mom, you should rest. Tomorrow we'll finish everything together." Mother Sam nodded, her heart full. She lay down on the bed, listening to the soft sounds of the house: footsteps, whispered conversations, the hum of electricity. For the first time in a long while, she felt completely at ease. Outside the room, Huyen and Day exchanged a quiet look, understanding each other without words. This was the life they had hoped to build, not just for themselves, but for the person who had given them everything. And in the stillness of that evening, the new house truly became a home, held together by love, gratitude, and the promise of many peaceful days ahead.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Live Single RV. Vậy là câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Trong câu chuyện hôm nay của chúng ta thì đã kể về nội dung rất là vui vẻ và hạnh phúc. Đó là khoảnh khắc cả Huyền, Đệ và bà Sam là mẹ của Đệ. Cả ba người cùng nhau đi chợ và sắm đồ dùng cho căn nhà mới của mẹ Đệ là bà Sam. Đó là khoảnh khắc rất là vui vẻ và hạnh phúc, thể hiện tinh thần hiếu thảo của Đệ và Huyền cũng như sự yêu thương gắn kết của các thành viên trong gia đình. Huyền đã sắm cho mẹ chồng của mình rất là nhiều đồ dùng gia đình tiện nghi, và bà Sam thì cảm thấy rất là xúc động khi con dâu của mình đối xử với mình rất là tốt. Còn Đệ thì cảm thấy rất là hài lòng vì anh đã chọn đúng người, đó chính là Huyền. Huyền luôn yêu thương mẹ Đệ. Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn về câu chuyện Huyền, Đệ và bé Mạnh A cũng như cuộc sống xoay xung quanh họ sẽ còn được kể ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn đừng quên bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh, sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các câu chuyện sẽ được phát sóng vào lúc 16 giờ Việt Nam trên kênh Live Single RV. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều đã luôn theo dõi và ủng hộ kênh của mình. Mọi ý kiến đóng góp các bạn hãy bình luận ở dưới video. Mình sẽ ghi nhận và sẽ có sự cải thiện nội dung trên kênh của mình. Và đừng quên bấm vào nút subscribe, like và share giúp mình nha. Thanks for watching my video. Bye bye everyone. See you soon. Bye bye.